Hey, good morning. Pastor Steve here. Matthew 2:6 says, Thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. When the kingdom of light enters the kingdom of darkness, there's great expectation as well. In the first chapter of John, verse 14, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. George Orwell's words reflect the world's parallel from the other kingdom. In the end was the lie, and the lie dwelt among us, graceless and false. Steve Brown tells of Pastor Ken Smith, who was a great Bible teacher who loves God. When he was young, he grew up in Mississippi, and do you remember Boise State had elections all over the country, and 2 representatives went to Washington, D.C., and one was elected president, and they worked in Congress. Well, Ken, as a boy, ran on a total segregationist ticket in Mississippi, and he was one of 2 to go to D.C., and he was determined to win the election as president on a segregationist platform. He said when he got there was a young senator named John Kennedy, and he said, Ken, do you want to learn something while you're up here? And he said, yes. And he said, I want you to get to know that. Actually, what he said was, I want you to get to know that boy over there. I looked over, he said, and he was black. He said, we roomed together that week. He won the presidency that week. We went and bowled together, ate our meals together, and I got to know him, and I loved him a lot. He said, when I got back to Mississippi, I was no longer the same man I used to be, and a lot of people were angry. And by the way, Ken, he paid a big price early in his ministry when he could only stay at a church for 2 or 3 months because he was faithful to the truth he'd learned, that all men are created equal. And in an interview, he was asked, Ken, what happened at that time? And he replied, friend, the door was cracked open, and once the door is cracked open, you can't shut it again. There are things you can't reverse, like toothpaste back in a tube or spilled milk in a bottle. And have you ever tried to stop dying once you're born? You can't reverse some things, but what we find in Matthew 2 is a past that ensures a future. And when the door is cracked and the light begins to shine in the darkness, then all the forces of hell will never be able to shut that door. You ponder that, Pastor Steve.